all set to go. Hello, everybody. I am finally reviewing these. I know everyone else got out the reviews of Pagos and Great House 2023 months ago. I'm only now getting around to it. Part of me doesn't really regret that. More on that later. Of course, I already reviewed the new Overproof. It's phenomenal. Go buy it. But these I'm just getting to. So we're going to get them poured, get them reviewed. And just to make things a little bit extra spicy, I'm also throwing in an independent bottling from also from Hampden Estate. There's the Great House poured. So this is a Down Island independent bottling of Sea Diamond H, which is one of Hampden's marques. I think this is for the Florida Rum Society, but I will double check that. And this is a 10-year-old. So we've got a lineup of 3 Hampdens, all pot-distilled rums from Trelawny in Jamaica. And yeah, let's just get started, get some notes on the table. And I will monologue a little when we take a rest. All right, so starting off with the Pagos. We're just going to go in order of increasing strength. Pagos this is the second edition, 2023. Pagos is Hampden's line of sherry matured Hampden rum. No age statement on this, but it is aged in ex-oloroso and pedro ximenez barrels. I'm sorry, butts, like so the larger, big old large vats. All tropical aging. What is the esters on this? So 467 odd grams per hectoliter of esters. So sort of getting towards the high end of the what they would call the light continental scale. Which is to say, kind of crazy by any other standard. Okay, let's stick our nose into this, see what a sherry-aged Hampden can do. They did have an earlier edition of this, which apparently wasn't very good, but I never got to try it. So this is my first heavily sherried Hampden. And yeah, it's just, this is unmistakably like mid-ester Hampden. What I'm missing, honestly, is the sherry. So I'm getting cherry cola, fried plantains, so very classic kind of, you know, LROK, HLCF kinds of notes. I'm not sure what the actual blend on this is. Tamarind. I had some tamarind ice cream at a local paleteria a couple of weeks ago, so I have that flavor note fresh in my mind. A couple of flowers, a little gravel, mixed berries. But it's actually quite, it's also quite peppery, which is where it feels like the majority of the sherry influence is coming from. Yeah, the distillate is really kind of running away. So I will say, I was worried when I first got this, and when I first heard about this, really, that the sherry casks were just going to run roughshod all over my beloved Hampden. That is not what is going on. It is, if anything, the other way around. It's just it's peppery, and that's the main signal that this is not good old-fashioned ex-bourbon barrel. Dig a little bit. There's a little bit more cinnamon than usual. There's a little bit of like California dates, medules, I think. What California dates? There's a little bit of lavender, a little rose water. I'm not sure if that's from the cask or if that's just part of the floral Hampden profile. Little touches of plum, not really like pruniness, but like more fresh plum. Yeah, the sherry is surprisingly subtle on this. On the palate, once again, if I didn't know like that this was a sherry cask, like I'm not sure if that's the first thing I would name. It just tastes a lot like good youngish mid-ester Hampden with a lot of extra pepper thrown in. Um, Cherry cola, like blueberry pie, cinnamon, cinnamon sticks. Like a kind of comes across like a pumpkin spice latte, something like that. Um, Dates again. Quite a lot of floral character to this. There's a lot of like rose watery, Turkish delighty kind of characters happening. A lot of flowers, cardamom, pepper, and vanilla also. So I wonder if this was like American oak sherry cask, but there, whatever. It's, I mean, it's much more straightforward than I was expecting, to be honest. Well, as straightforward as a Hampden is, or can be. It's surprisingly kind of short in the mouth length, like tons and tons happening, and kind of it's very grippy up front here, but it stops right around my molars. There is nothing happening like further back into my throat. It's just kind of, and so I imagine, I don't know how old this is, but I imagine it's pretty darn not old. Um, so the main problem that this has is it's $9, and $90 is also the price you will be paying for the new overproof. And unless this really improves with water, let's give it some water. I do not think it's up at that level. I just think the overproof just it feels a hair bit older, has more mouth presence, has more strength. Um, and yeah, so well, we'll see where this goes with water. But right now, with those two products on the shelf next to each other, sorry, Pagos. Well, there's a little more sherry going on there. Let's give that a second. 2.5 squirts for that. Okay, moving on. Great House. Great House 2023 edition. This one's interesting because, so the last couple of years of Great House, starting from 2020 to 21 to 22, they've really been amping up the ester levels and pulling back on the oak. Here they've kind of like reversed themselves a little bit. This is 40%, 20. Let me back up. Let me back up a little bit. Great House is an annual release that Hampden does, which is basically just a blend of different marques, so different recipes that they make, that they do kind of for themselves for fun because they want to have it. And this particular one is 40% 2016 HLCF, which is kind of like, yeah, it's one of those mid-ester marques. So it's rum fire basically. But with this, in this case, like 7 years of age on it, which is a fair bit for like contemporary Hampden. And then it's 60% 2021 LROK. LROK is also a kind of mid-ester marque. It's just the step below HLCF. So a little bit oakier, a little bit lower ester. This year, 57%. Let's see what we got. On the nose, I mean, it smells older than the Pagos, actually. It just smells like it's kind of has more maturity to it. Not necessarily more oak, but just kind of like it's it feels more integrated. Let's put it that way. It was actually quite, in terms of that the particular Hampden character here, it's actually pretty similar. What's leading the way here is like lots of tobacco. Virginias, Burleys, a little bit of Perique happening. My beloved Perique. Even a little bit of like cigar leaf, like a little bit of like Maduro. Real Maduro, not the sort of cheap fake stuff. And then you're getting like pineapple upside down cake, cherry cola, coffee cake, like mint tea, Senegalese mint tea. This is also quite floral. There's some, I don't even know what to say. I'm bad with floral description. There's some complex floral figurations going on. Lots of kind of fruity, citrusy aromatics. Orange peel, lime peel. It's not exactly like, I want something minerally, but it's more like a hot metal note. It's like a junkyard on a hot day, but nice. Vanilla, white pepper. I mean, it's very Hampden. It's not a bonkers Hampden. This is very like balanced and subdued, and like it's Hampden, putting on a nice shirt and trying to present. You know what I'm talking about? On the palate. Same kind of story on the palate. Poise, I think, is the word for this. Or yeah, balance. Like it's really hard to criticize. It's just so well put together. It's like it's not a crazy Hampden. It's not even crazy complex. It's like think of this as like Hampden's answer to Dogfish Head's 60-minute IPA, right? Can you get more crazy than that? Absolutely. But that is something that absolutely shows the bonkers side of things. Enough that people are going to get it, but it also is so delicious and clean and balanced that it can kind of lead people in. Yeah, that's exactly what this is. All right, what do we got? We have mint tea, again. All the tobaccos I mentioned, kind of leading on Burley this time. Burley, then Virginia, then a little Perique, some cigar-y stuff. Flowers, again. Cherry cola, cinnamon, vanilla. Kind of a nuttiness. Really, it kind of tastes like an entire southern dessert cart. Like there's pineapple cake, there's some lane cake going on. It's just so well composed. There's even like a hint of like a golden raisiny thing leading into the flowers, so it's almost a little bit like a little shot of like Borderies cognac went into this bottle. There's a little bit of that vibe going on, which I appreciate. Lime and orange again. Just a hair short in terms of like the mouth length, but doing better than the Pagos. And beyond that, I mean, the mouth presence is excellent. This is just it gives my entire mouth like all the good vibrations. It holds on for a good long time. Like terrific finish. Yeah, let's add some water to this, and we'll come back to it. 1, 2, 3. It's 57, right? So let's do 4.5, see where we are. Not going to go more than that. All right. And lastly, the Down Island. So again, this is from 2014, all one marque, which is Diamond H. Diamond H is, I mean, on paper, it's only the one level up from LFCH, which is, I'm sorry, HLCF, which is 40% of this guy, remember? But it's a big honking step. So we're with Diamond H, we're starting to push into like 1,000 or so grams per hectoliter of esters. So this is where Hampden moves away from being kind of insane to like legitimately insane. And this is a 10-year-old. It was aged 4 years in Jamaica, I suppose, and then 6 years continental aging. 68.5%. So the strength is not shy on this. And yeah, let's see what we got. Ex-bourbon cask, of course. Again, it's very, 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 very Hampden. It smells like Trelawny. Like you're not mistaking this for any other kind of rum out there. It's just more crazy now. So it's... Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's got that kind of like pineapple upside down cake soaked in cherry cola thing. But the difference is the side of wild berries and like rocks and flowers, like kind of encroaching on all that, is just dialed up by, tenfold. Orange blossom, honey, some parsley in there. Maybe a little bit of like spearmint too, but mainly parsley actually. Basil. Coffee grinds, like used coffee grinds, like a Sumatra blend. So your Starbucks Pikes Peak or whatever. Tobacco again. Again, we're kind of leaning burley. We're leaning in that kind of nuttier direction. It's something that makes me think cherry, but it's not. There's a little bit of like an Eagle Rare 10-year-old note in this, believe it or not. A little bit of Stag Junior, of all the things. But don't be scared. This is not. I don't think the bourbon taters are going to like this one. Yeah, it's a fantastic highest ester Hampden with a good bit of age, and that's kind of what it smells like. On the palate, oh, okay, huge. This completely dominates my mouth from the start to way back in my throat. Just grabs me and holds me while we go on for this big old woody high ester ride. Huge and fabulous. Just a terrific example of like, again, Hampden at age. Yeah, man. I mean, it's just a bomb of like southern desserts, tobacco, again, Burleys and Virginias, and then like berries and flowers and all the rocks. Oh. Throw a little mint tea in, throw some vanilla latte in. Cinnamon sticks, black pepper. It's actually more peppery than the Pagos. Cola cubes. And that kind of like Stack Junior Eagle Rare thing, that kind of like, yeah, that Buffalo Trace like bourbony cherry thing, that's totally in here. Yeah, that's absolutely fabulous. I mean, this is just a textbook example of why Hampden is so good. Yeah, we'll give this some water, and we're gonna go back through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I may stop at 6. Six and a half. All right. Now, let me give you the bad news. Let me have some water, and then I'll give you the bad news. This Down Island, this guy here, which I just sang the praises of, it's $175. These two, the great house, 130 or so in the Chicago area, and the Pagos is around 90. And yeah. I mean, so I said when I started this that I'm late coming to these reviews, but I don't regret it that much because like I'm not a huge channel by any means, right? Although we are starting to come up on 2,000 subscribers. Wow, thank you so much. Thanks especially to my Patreons. You're my only consistent source of income right now. Thank you. But it's like I have been thinking I should really be toning down the hype on Hampden a little bit. I'm not, like I've said in the past, I think they're the best distillery in the world, and I'm not gonna take that back. Like for at least 5 or 6 years, like the Hampden brand has just been doing the spirits equivalent of like pitching a no-hitter. Like they've just done everything right. The character of the distillate is fantastic. The way they've been doing the aging is fantastic. The pricing up until recently has been quite reasonable. Like the presentations have been great. Just every single thing they've done is just they've just nailed it. But you know, I look at other channels, you know, complaining about pricing and availability of Springbank, for example, and then going and doing another Springbank review, another tour of the distillery, because apparently 3 or 4 of the damn things haven't been enough. And I feel like, yeah, maybe I should be pumping the brakes a little bit. I'm not going to say that there's real competition for these guys yet. Not yet. There's some characters waiting in the wings I think you should be looking out for. But yeah, it's starting to get crazy. We're starting to get crazy, and it's beginning to worry me. So rather than just going out and buying every Hampden you see, especially the aged ones, unaged, like, prices are still reasonable. Rather than going out and buying every Hampden you see, I think you should be picking and choosing at the moment. Definitely, like, the HLCF, it's more expensive than the old overproof. I'm not quite... For me personally, I still like the old overproof better, but it's still worth a grab. Like, get that one. Get the new overproof, the HLCF Classic. And for the rest of these, well, let's see. Let's see what I think. Just be wary. And I'm being wary of piping these things up too much. You take care of the ecosystem. All right, moving on. Let's give these guys another go and give them a final score. All right, back to the Pagos. Ooh, okay. The sherry's rolling in now. Okay. It's still, like, really just low, or not even low, like mid-ester Hampden. But now, like, there's a really noticeable kind of halo of, like, peppery, datey, pruny, raisiny stuff around it. And it's interesting. I mean, it's Hampden with a little bit of sherry on it. That's what it smells like. Is it better? Mm, okay, on the palate. I was hoping water would improve the mouth length on this and kind of push it further back, but nope. Nope, it's still like just weirdly short. Still just cuts off right before my molars. Um, it's still just like mostly, even that halo as I was getting in the nose isn't really there as much. It just comes across as a very peppery Hampden. With like a couple of dates thrown in. Um, I mean, oh, what do I want to say about this? It's still quite good because it's a Hampden. Like they're not gonna miss. Like I've never had a stinker from Hampden Distillery ever. I mean, you could do everything in your power to ruin this stuff. Like finish it in God knows what. Like finish it in sweet vermouth or something, and it would probably still be fine. Um, the problem is like I don't think this is actually better than good old fashioned bourbon cask Hampden. Score wise, I'm gonna keep this at 86. 86 flat. And I would buy the HLCF Classic over this, all day long. So yeah, so there's been two iterations of the Pagos now, and again, I didn't have the first one. Apparently, it was not as good as this one. I still don't like this one very much. So I know Luca Gargano over in Velier loves his sherry casks, but I just feel like maybe this isn't working. Or maybe just try something else. Don't even retire the Pagos name. Just try, keep it as a name for like trying different kinds of cask types with your Hampden. Because I would love to try Hampden in weird woods. Not finishes, because finishes are lame and gimmicky, but most of the time. But I would love to see like a mid-ester Hampden, aged in European oak, aged in like Lamazon or something. I would love to try like some really assertive cask that I don't think other stills, spirits would survive, like a Von Jean cask or something. You could get creative with this. Like it doesn't have to be sherry, and I don't think I think that there's some novelty to it. It adds some value that this doesn't necessarily bring. So 86 points. 86 points for the Pagos 2023, sorry. And let us move on to the Great House 2023. This was quite good. It was just being kind of overshadowed a little bit by the Down Island. So let's see what happens with a little bit of water on the nose. This is just better on the nose than the Pagos. I'm sorry, Pagos. I'm sorry. You're not winning this. This smells like, just classic Hampden meets key lime pie. And I'm all here for it. It's very fruity. It's very, by Hampden sandwich, it's very easy. It's very balanced. It's very presentable. This is the Hampden you bring home to meet your parents, right? So to speak. On the palate. So mouthfeel-wise, it gets a touch kind of creamier. There's a little bit of ashiness going on too, a little bit of char. Otherwise, it's pretty similar to what it was. Length is still a hair bit short, but I mean, it's delicious. It's wonderful. This is a very, very just textbook example of aged Hampden, if there is such a thing. Now, the dilemma. What do I score this? Can I get this to a 90? If I looked at this like in the most positive light I possibly could, I could probably push this to a 90. And bear that in mind. I feel like a lot of people would, just because it has such a balance and a poise to it. It's much more drinkable in some ways than the last year's Great House. But in terms of absolute quality, I think this is a step down. I would give this an 89 plus. So it's right there. But I don't think it crosses that threshold. And actually, honestly, I don't think it's as good as the HLCF Classic. But it's a damn good Hampden. I just wish it wasn't $130. Yikes. Okay, and now the Down Island. Now, this was definitely the winner going in. So unless this kind of falls flat on its face with water, which it could. I mean, tropical aging, interesting things happen. Unless this falls on its face, this is going to run away with it. It's not falling on its face. The esters come out with water, and I'm okay with that. So what are we getting? We're getting flowers. We're getting rocks. We're getting the intermarriage of flowers and rocks. We're getting a huge truckload of berries, lime, orange, honey, and just really incredible depth. I mean, yeah, the detail, the little bits of nuance in like really, really good Hampden is just mind-bending. Okay, I'm gonna cut myself off. Let's taste this. There's not a ton of development in this, or let me back that up. There's a little bit more cherry cola and a lot more pepper. So there's development, but I'm not sure how positive the development is. I didn't necessarily want more pepper on this. There was plenty to begin with, and now it's getting a hair bit excessive for me. Let me try this one more time. Still friggin' fantastic, but I might have preferred this neat. Yeah, but still, I mean, this is a damn good Hampden. Brings the esters, like folds in a good bit of oak on top of that, and a kind of like little gesture nod towards Buffalo Trace is unexpected and kind of delightful. I really like this. 91 points. 91 points for the Down Island Jamaica 2014. The big question is this worth $175 of your money? I mean, in absolute terms, yes, absolutely. The quality is there for that price point. It's absolutely there. Do I hate it? Yeah. I do hate it. and I would probably buy the HLCF instead of this also. So there you have it. That's 3 awesome Hampdens, and I would skip all of these in favor of the good old HLCF Classic. 86 for the Pagos, 89 plus for Great House 2023, and the Down Island 2014 Diamond H, 91. Great distillery, but yeah, I'm pumping the brakes, y'all. Thanks for watching, and cheers.